Good evening, brothers. How you guys doing? Nice to see you. I was gonna say good afternoon. I'm all discombobulated today. Good evening. Hope you're well. Here we go. Alright. We're looking at some Blade Guards tonight. They didn't do so well in the battlefield today, but that's okay. Evening Roadkill. Evening Mick. Finishing a land speeder and some infiltrators. The Tomac. Oh. Hey, I'm working on my kill team, but I gotta wait for my local GW to open again so I get some of the sweet green stuff. Nice. I think they're doing online delivery still at the moment. I could be wrong. But I think they are still delivering online. Evening, Tony. How you doing? So yeah, I mean, if there's any questions out about today's game, we can cover that tonight. And I guess we can just hang out. We can chat. I'm actually going to grab my white paint. I didn't grab the white one over. One sec. I'm going to try and do a bit of work on these Blade Guards. They didn't do so well in the game today, but I mean, we picked up the win nonetheless. So, I mean, a win's a win, right? Maybe we'll just start with the white. I mean, I'm not looking forward to painting the white, so why not just get over and done with? Yeah, why not? I don't want any packages to my place. My neighbours really like grabbing them when I'm not there. Wow, okay. That sucks. I don't have any answer to that. If your neighbours are stealing your packages, that's pretty annoying. Let me fire up some music. My back is actually quite sore today, so I was kind of 50-50 if I was going to actually stream tonight, because leaning over the table all day playing Warhammer I guess I have a bad back, and then sometimes painting I can hurt my back as well doing this, so hopefully we're alright. It's a little bit sore, but I think we'll power through. Don't get me started about UPS. Hey Adam, how you doing? Good evening. So I'm going to start by putting a second coat of white onto these Blade Guard shields. The first coat we put on was okay. This white is really delicate to get the right consistency. I think it's a tiny bit too watery. If the music's too loud as well, please let me know. And yeah, if there's any questions about today's game, happy to take them as well. Do you reckon that the Khorne Berserkers would have been more effective if you remember that Khorne units come in units of 8? I mean, the Berserkers, they only got to make one charge the entire game, right? And I mean, I knew that the Berserkers are crazy strong, and I knew that, like, I really couldn't handle them on charges. So, I mean, I guess based on that, I feel like I did okay. In turn 2, when he made a lot of charges with other stuff, and like I lost a lot, I think it was turn 2, I lost a lot of stuff in the combat phase. I was kind of second guessing some of my decisions there. I guess same as last week, how we were second guessing a few of the decisions against the Sisters of Battle. I was second guessing a couple of decisions in turn 2 when I lost a lot of stuff, but yeah, I mean, the fact he had 3 squads of Berserkers and 2 Rhinos, and he only got to make 1 charge with them. Well, I guess he had 3 squads of Rhinos, 2 Rhinos, 3 squads of Berserkers, and the Terrax drill, right? And he actually only managed to make 1 charge. So, I mean, that was like a huge investment from him that we kind of shut down pretty effectively. So, I mean, that was good. If he'd had them in units of 8, I don't know if it would make any difference. I think he might have been better having more smaller units, because it feels like a 6-man Berserker squad will pretty much kill just about anything they run into anyway. So I'm not really sure what his point of a 10-man squad was actually, because it feels like when people take like 10-man Sanguinary Guard, it's just like if they make the charge, they're going to totally overkill and you're going to waste damage. So that's my opinion. I found out that Assault Hellblasters have 3 shots, and I add them back to my list as I think they will be good. I mean, Assault Hellblasters are good, and yeah, they are Assault 3. I mean, they're not that great at killing armor, because, I mean, they're lower strength, but I mean, I think they're strength 7 on high power and strength 6 on low power, right? But I mean, against like infantry and stuff, the 3-shot Hellblasters would be pretty deadly, I would have thought. I'm going to try and get some new music for the next time I stream. I think I've been hearing this song now for every Hangout for a couple of months, so we're going to get some new music. The white over the gold, 2 coats is kind of okay, but I kind of think like it's maybe going to need a 3rd coat. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have sprayed the shields gold, but I mean, I sprayed them black and then I sprayed them gold as well. But yeah, I mean, it's done now, right? Yeah, I think they're just going to need a 3rd coat of white, that's all. What's your opinion on the Hammer of Baal versus the Mastercrafted Thunder Hammer? I mean, I think when I actually checked the math, it's kind of similar, right? Because you'll be -1 to hit with the one hammer, but then you'll be 1 more damage with it. So I think both are decent choices. I think if you're running Gift of Foresight, which I think is an amazing warlord trait, then I would probably go for the Mastercrafted over the Hammer of Baal, because you probably get more value out of that. But if you're just wanting something that does like a ton of damage, then potentially, yeah, I mean, they both have advantages, don't they? I usually don't worry too much about the fact that the Thunderhammer's only -2 AP, because really, I do a lot of my hits with my Thunderhammers in turn 3, 4, and 5, and at that point it's -3 anyway, so I guess I don't see the AP difference as an issue at all. So if you've got some way to deal with the rerolls or the hits, like Gift of Foresight, then I probably prefer the Mastercrafted one. But if you're running something like a Death Company Captain, you're going like Imperium Sword, then I probably prefer the Hammer of Baal. Hey everyone, just painting up my captain on a bike. Nice, Dolph. So it finally came, the captain on the bike. 8 being Khorne's blessed number. Yeah. I mean, I still think that 6-man squad of Berserkers is just kind of crazy, right? So it's like, what? It's... If you think about it, it's, what? They get 2 attacks, 3 from charging, 4 from being world eaters, then like potentially 5 from having a chainsword. So like the 6-man squad had like 30 some attacks. Was that right? And then the exploding 6s, and they can do it all again. So like a 6-man squad has literally like 50 plus attacks with exploding 6s. I mean, I don't know how much Khorne Berserkers cost, and I know that they're kind of glass cannons, but geez, boy, can they do a lot of damage. I mean, I think they actually do more damage than the Sisters of Battle, the Repentia and the Zerfin, maybe. What's up, Dracula? How are you doing? Good evening. I don't know if you guys caught the stream last night where we were playing that new 40k PC game called Battle Sector, but seems pretty dope. I'm probably going to buy it when it comes out, and probably aim to stream it on like Friday nights, because Friday night I don't really work on anything, so like channel related anyway. So maybe we'll stream Battle Sector on Friday nights. But yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like it could be quite a fun little game. Said it had a 20 mission campaign, and the voice acting seemed pretty cool, the graphics seemed pretty cool. I only played the first 2 missions on the preview. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it's going to be a cool game. If they release new Berserkers, I could be tempted. Do you have a Khorne army, Tony? Or are you just thinking about getting a Khorne army? I reckon that they'll either make Berserkers 2 wounds and increase their points cost. But I mean, that might make them better, or it might make them worse. It's hard to say. Because I mean, they're kind of like the Sisters of Battle. You don't expect them to survive. You just expect them to go in and do a ton of damage, right? Making a right mess of that tonight. Probably got too much paint in this brush. This is why I'm the slowest painter ever, because I make so many mistakes and have to go back and forward. These shields are quite tricky to do though. No Khorne armies yet. Yeah, I mean, the game did look fun, and yeah. So tomorrow, I guess I need to read up on Tyranids, because I got my first game against Tyranids this edition. Actually, it might even be my first game against Tyranids for 8th edition, but you know, the list that we've run is starting to pick up some momentum now. I'm still making mistakes. I feel like maybe I made slightly less mistakes today, but they're still happening. So one of these days we're going to have a game where there's no mistakes and we're going to get right back into the swing of things. But I'm feeling a lot more comfortable in my strategy. I never felt... Do you know what? I did feel one point in that game I was a little worried. I think it was the turn 2 when like a lot of my stuff died. But I had a good plan to score my secondaries against him, and I felt like... I'm not sure his secondary picks were the greatest. I mean, priority objective didn't make sense for the Khorne player if he was just going to sit... if he's just going to sit as cultists on there and I have my whirlwind, you know? Like, that's a big problem for him. And it meant he ended up having to use his drill, like, super defensively, which I was kind of okay with. Did you post the Tyranids list anywhere? I can post it in Discord. I think it was shared earlier today, so yeah, I'll post it in Discord tonight. I posted the Death Guard list for Monday in Discord as well, and it is a Mortarian list, and it does have 2 Plague Burst Crawlers, and it has a Demon Prince, so it's going to be a tricky list to fight up against, I'm sure. So this shield, although it looks like a Blade Guard's veteran shield, is actually a 3D printed shield I bought on eBay. Because it's like, if you're not seeing it, it's a custom Blood Angels Blade Guard veteran shield. So I bought 5 of these on eBay, and I think they cost about $8. But do you know what? I can't find the other 4, so I made this one conversion, and then I apparently lost the other 4 shields. So I don't know what the hell I did with them. wrong size units in Death Guard list, it'll be a walkover. I don't know if it'll be a walkover. I mean, I think Mortarion can potentially do a lot of work against me. I guess we'll see. Like I said, so my list, I have Centurions, right? And in all 3 games, you could argue that my Centurions underperformed, but what the Centurions have done is, they've taken a lot of fire, right? Like, a lot of people have thrown a lot of things at the Centurions, and they are toughness 5, and they do have that 2+ save. So, I mean, if people are expending a lot of stuff to kill the Centurions, then probably it's 165 points well spent, I would think. Rizio, I dig the Centurions. I've got myself Centurions on my wish list. People seem really scared of them. Yeah, I mean, it is. They are. I don't think you can ignore them, right? Because they hit with strength 10, flat 3 damage. So I think you kind of have to deal with them. And they look big and they look scary. And I guess comboed up with Psychic Fortress and comboed up with the Sanguinary Priest, rezzing or Feel No Paining them, they seem decently survivable. So yeah, I mean, if the Centurions mean that my Sanguinary Guard are living for longer, if they mean my captains and stuff are living for longer, then I'm probably okay to spend that 165 points to take the Centurions. And I mean, they do have Flamers that seem to always do a bit of work. But yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I don't know if I can play them better. They're literally bullet magnets. In some cases, maybe it's worth giving them the title Distraction Carnifex, right? Because they just are supposed to soak up a ton of fire and distract them from all the other things. Today the Leviathan Dreadnought went after the Centurions, where the Centurions were literally stood right next to the multi-melta attack bikes. And Centurions aren't core, right? So you can't give them the Chapter Master rerolls, but the multi-melta attack bikes are core. So we ended up using the multi-melta attack bikes with the rerolls and Null Zone to just down the Leviathan from 10 wounds to 0 in a single turn. Are there any units that shouldn't do well in Blood Angels lists, but you found do really well for some reason? I'm not allowed to speak about my super heavy tank and the win streak it's on. Everybody in the chat gets angry with me if I speak about it, Tomahawk. Or, yeah, Tomaku. So, I'm banned from speaking about it. But no, in all seriousness, right now I'm enjoying running Centurions. I'm actually also enjoying running a Librarian and Terminator Armor. I know a lot of the more serious Blood Angels players run the Librarian with a jump pack. But I'm getting value out of the guy with Terminator Armor right now, so they're not super common picks. But I'm enjoying taking them. I was going to say, I don't think I'm picking anything else that's really out there or unorthodox at the moment. But I did have that list that Tony's talking about, essentially, where I ran a super heavy tank for 8 games in a row. It started as I just had the super heavy tank and I'd had it for a while and I just wanted to run it in a game. And then it started winning games over and over and over because people didn't know how to deal with it. So I wouldn't have thought it would have been the strongest list ever, but it was undefeated when I retired it before lockdown. So maybe we'll bring it back one day, but it is kind of a niche pick and it is kind of just a fun list. But I guess people don't really know how to deal with Blood Angels when you have a tank with 26 wounds and toughness 8 that you can screen really well with all your jump characters. And, the tank can do an absolute ton of damage. 8 las cannons. What was it? 3 heavy bolters and then the twin volcano cannon. So the tank can do over 100 wounds of damage per turn. so I mean, I knew the tank was strong, but I mean, I never expected it to beat everybody. And like I was telling people, like, this is the list I'm running. Bring your strongest list that you think can beat it, and like no one could beat it. But I mean, I'm doing the same with my new list now. So like, I'm not changing my list, and I'm playing Death Guard, which my list is definitely not optimized against, because Death Guard obviously have that -1 damage, and I don't have a huge amount of damage 3 weapons or anything like that. So I'm playing a very unoptimized list for against Death Guard on Monday. And if we beat Tyranids, then we'll literally be on a 5-game winning streak. So I told the Death Guard player, though, like, hey, this is my list, so bring whatever you want. And I also said that my list isn't tailored at all for fighting Death Guard. In some cases, like my Death Company captain will just do half damage because he's running Teeth of Terror, which is normally 2 damage, but against Death Guard it'll just be 1. So it will be interesting to see if the list can take the win up against Mortarion and his Death Guard. Then I guess the list has some legs, I guess is what I'm going to say. Like maybe this list could potentially be the start of like a future tournament list or something for me. And you know what? If it goes on that, if we beat the Death Guard and we go on that 6-game win streak, then we'll maybe actually do a video about the Patrol and Vanguard detachment and why I think they're strong right now. I mean, the list also has a distinct lack of OBSEC. We have 1 single OBSEC unit in the list, so, and we've got none. You know, people often submit lists for the live show with like, you know, Visage of Death or Rites of War to get the ability to add or remove OBSEC. So I got none of that. I'm just running a pure we will run in your face and kill you list. And we will kill you on your objectives, and we'll kill you in your own deployment zone, and we will take the win that way, I guess. The super heavy tank is awesome. Thanks, Dracula. It was fun to run the super heavy tank. I know you said no one knew how to deal with a super heavy tank. What is actually the best way to deal with one if you come up against it? Well, I mean, there's 2 options, right? You completely ignore it, or you have to go sort of all in on it, right? Because it's toughness 8, and it's got 26 wounds, and it's got 2+ save, and quite often I would either use Shield of Sanguinius, or I would use Psychic Fortress to give it that invulnerable save. And, what am I trying to say? And with the Tet Marine, I also had the Tet Marine set up as the Master of the Forge, Dolph. So basically, you would always be able to heal them for 3 wounds every turn. And the Tet Marine also makes it +1 to all its weapons. And the tank's no joke in close combat as well, because it's got Crushing Tracks, which I think is like Strength 8 -2 D3 damage, and you get maybe 7 attacks if you're charged. I mean, you only hit on 5s in close combat, but still... you know, it's Strength 8 hits that you're doing back. You're basically just running over anyone that charges you, I guess. So yeah, I think there's 2 tactics. You go all in on it, and you have to kill the super heavy tank, or you completely ignore it. And I think both tactics have their risks, right? Because if you go all in on it, if you end up for some reason leaving it alive with a few wounds here or there, then, you know, I'll just repair it, and then I'll buff its weapon skill, and then, you know, you'll have gone all in on it. So my jump units, like I ran that list with 1 Death Company, 1 Sanguinary Guard, and 1 Vanguard Veteran. So you'd expect, like, if you've gone all in after my tank, then those other units are completely free to mop up all the units that are left on the board, and that's pretty much what happened in, let's say, half the games, when people went all in on the tank. And in the other games where people just ignored the tank, like I said, the tank can do 100 wounds per turn. If the Tet Marine's alive with the tank giving it that 2+ ballistic skill, then, you know, pretty much every turn... I sort of made the call after it started winning games to just not split its fire, right? Because obviously, you know, when you split fire in a game, you end up leaving 2 units with, like, low health. So I just decided with the super heavy tank, after, like... Let's say after like 4 or 5 of the wins, I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to split its fire ever. I'm just going to always fire all the guns at a single target. And what it pretty much meant was every single turn, that tank would just delete a single target. It didn't matter what the single target was, like Mortarion, Great Unclean One, some sort of giant Necron barge. It honestly didn't matter. It was just like every turn it would just delete the most expensive points unit model that the enemy can see. I will just delete it off the board, and I'll do that systematically every turn for 5 turns. The only way you get around that, I guess, is you try and hide your units from the tank. And then usually if you're hiding your units from the tank, you're not on the objectives, you're not scoring your secondaries. So if I came up against a super heavy tank list, what would I do, I guess, would be a good question. But honestly, I don't know. Like, I guess you have to make a call on, can your list get in and kill the tank? Because if you can't kill the tank, then it's a real problem. And I guess there are some armies that will be able to just sort of like counter it or kill the tank in a single turn, but all the armies that I played against had big problems, and there was only one game where I lost the tank in turn 1, and that was against Iron Hands, and he threw everything he had at that tank to kill it in turn 1, including like 2 drop pods with multi-melted devastators, and I lost the tank in turn 1, and the tank was 630 points, and I actually he actually went first, so I actually lost it before I got to fire it. So I was now going to play a game where I had like 1370 points against 2000, right? Like, but he'd had to throw everything so far forward, everything was out of position to get like line of sight on the tank and stuff like that, and he used like a bunch of CP. What it actually meant was like all my units were able to basically make turn 1 charges just about. And because he had those drop pods, I was actually able to use my dreadnoughts. I was able to consolidate into a bunch of drop pods. And obviously drop pods can't fall back, right? Because they're just a drop pod. So I consolidated into all his drop pods, and it meant that like the rest of his units couldn't shoot me because obviously my guys were tied up with the drop pods. So I consolidated. I killed all the things that he dropped in. I consolidated into the drop pods so he couldn't shoot me, and then I made like turn 2 charges after killing the drop pods in his turn in the combat phase. And even after losing the tank in turn 1, it's still, I guess, having to commit so heavily forward threw him so far out of position that I still managed to get the win. It's a real doozy. I have no idea what I would do if I came up against a list like that. You'd have to make a call at the beginning of the game, like, is this something you can kill? Because if it's not, and you go after it and you don't think you're going to get the kill, then that's going to be a big problem. However, if you do think you're going to be able to get the kill, you have to just try and balance out like how aggressive you're going to be. And you know what? I actually think that tank suits my style a lot, right? Because I don't know if you've watched the recent games, I'm super defensive with my Blood Angels. The one game I've lost since lockdown ended or whatever was me not being super defensive. So I definitely play more defensive than most people. I kind of wait and try and dictate the pace of the game. And normally, I think it works quite well for me. Yeah, I think those shields are just going to need a 3rd coat of white, annoyingly. I mean, I think this white is a lot better than the Games Workshop white, but yeah, it's still going to need a 3rd coat. White over gold and black doesn't work so well. So yeah, what's everybody working on tonight then? Or what, if you haven't already mentioned what you're working on, let us know. looking forward to seeing your painted captain on a bike, though. I love seeing captain on a bike. What's the best way for dealing with the I'm not sure how you say that, Jack. Dimarchions? Is it Dimarchions? They're in the list that I'm playing on Monday for Tyranids. I believe there's 2 of them. Let me see if I can quickly pull up that Tyranid list. I think Andrew sent me it. Let me check. Alright, no, he hasn't sent it, but I've just pinged him. So I think I'm playing against a Dimicarion? I don't know if I'm saying that right at all, but I am building a shield captain for a Custodes commission, painting a pair of Warglavies. I'm fighting a list, Jack, with 2 of those Flesh Terror Infiltrators. Alright, Flesh Terror Infiltrators, nice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm fighting Tyranids on Monday. I don't know where you are in the world, Jack, but where we are, Monday's a holiday, so we're going live on Monday morning, Blood Angels versus Tyranids, and I'm pretty sure the list that I'm fighting has 2 of those in it. At least it did when he sent like the Normally when we make army lists, sometimes we'll send like an early version so that we have a rough idea of what each other are taking. But I am changing my army list, so I just have this one list that's won 4 games in a row now, and that's the list I'm taking. So I'm trying not to tailor. You know, I've been trying to build a list that's strong against every faction. So I'm going to take this list against Tyranids, and I'm also going to take it against Death Guard on Monday. And I guess we'll see how we get on against the Dimicarions. I don't know if I've ever actually fought those before, so I'm going to have a read of their profiles. I did have a very quick read of them. They don't seem to have an invulnerable save, I think, right? But they do look very fast and very difficult to deal with in combat. I mean, my list has 3 bikes with multi-meltas and 2 Redemptive Dreadnoughts, so maybe we'll be able to just snipe one of them with the bikes and the Redemptors. And then usually I try and hang like my unit of Sanguinary Guard back for a counter charge, so I'd probably try and maybe counter charge, let him push forward and then maybe try and counter charge with a Sanguinary Guard or something like that. But I mean, yeah, because I had a look, they get like additional attacks with their tail, and they get attacks if they die and stuff like that. So it might be the sort of unit that when you only want to hit it when you are sure that you can kill it, right? Like, you don't just want to have a few units in there against it. Otherwise, it's kind of a waste. This may be what I think. Oh, you'll be on in the UK. Nice. All right. I loved seeing the World Eaters on the channels. Looking forward to more battles. Yeah, that's cool. Being a brother slow painter, I'm still working on the 2nd of 10 infiltrators, so split my time when I lose the will. Like tonight, I'm working on the Achilles. Nice. I always wanted an Achilles. I don't have an Achilles yet. I purposely tried to make this latest list use no Forge World stuff as well, because sometimes tournaments can be a little bit. I mean, I think we're alright now, but at the beginning of 9th edition, tournaments were a little bit funny about some of the Forge World rules, I guess, because they hadn't been fully updated. And sometimes tournaments can be funny about Forge World models, so yeah, I purposely try to make this latest list use no Forge World stuff. But for the most part, it's not that big a deal. Yeah, so I think that's going to be on probably Monday morning. Like, I think we're aiming to kick off about 9:30 on Monday. So, and we're going to be live for a good portion of the day on Monday. If you keep an eye on the community tab, I'll be posting up a community post probably tomorrow night because the first game, the game against Tyranids, is not going to be on this Blood Angels Commander channel. We'll still be live for our Death Guard game on the Blood Angels Commander, but the first game against Tyranids, I'm going to be over on Andrew's channel. But I mean, I'll post up the link so you guys can find it easy enough. Anything to avoid the dissertation. Oh, right, okay. They can, with some lists, get both in turn 1 charges, have a 5+ and can get a 5 triple+. I mean, I tend to deploy pretty defensively, so hopefully I wouldn't let him make a turn 1 charge on me. What? Tony, why is their charge range so long, or what's the deal with them? Just finished up the Devastation of Baal. It was awesome. Yeah, that was a cool book. You're lucky, man. AR, you need to pick up the next book in the series, Darkness in the Blood. If you like Devastation of Baal, you'll probably like Darkness of the Blood. If you are in the UK and you haven't done it already, I can give you a link to get 3 months of Audible for $1, or sorry, not $1, £1. I actually had it on my community tab a few weeks back, and it's pretty legit. It's a pretty legit deal. Like 3 books on Audible for £1, and there's plenty of Warhammer books on there. So, how much is an Achilles going for? So the Achilles has been discontinued in the UK, and I know this because I wanted one and I emailed Games Workshop asking when it would be back in stock, and they basically said it was discontinued. So I guess if you really want an Achilles, you either have to spend stupid money on eBay, and I did see one on eBay going for almost like £300, which is probably the equivalent of like $450. Dracula, so that's insane. So the only option is to either overpay for it on eBay or find a recaster that will do it, which is really not ideal. It seems strange that they discontinued it if it still has rules. You know, like, it's fine if they discontinue stuff if it doesn't have rules anymore, but when they discontinue stuff that has rules in the book is a bit strange. I only use Audible for my Warhammer books. Well, Tom, yeah, I mean, if you ever need a link, I mean, it seems like, because I'm an Amazon affiliate, they always email me these deals, like where we can get basically extra books and sign-ups. So periodically from time to time when they email me the deals, I just share them on my channel. America, but I appreciate the offer. They have a 12-inch, then they can 12-inch advance, and then they pay CP to advance and charge, and you can use a psychic or aura ability to move twice with Swarmlord, so it gives the second one 24-inch as well, then they charge. Okay, wow. That sounds pretty scary. I mean, maybe I'll have to screen with my Centurions. And aim to flame them if they come in, but yeah, that amount of movement. So what actually is their threat range then? So if they can 12-inch, then they can 12-inch advance, and then they can advance. So their threat range is like 36 inches, and they can use the psychic or aura ability to move twice with Swarmlord. So that gives a second one 24 inches as well. Then they charge. So basically, 2 of them can move 24 inches, then charge in turn 1. Is that correct? I was really lucky with buying, bought it in 2019. Yeah, I mean, I guess you just bought it at the right time, man. Because yeah, it would have been last year that I emailed them. I think it was when they changed the multi meltas. I emailed them, so it was a while ago now to ask them like, hey, when are the Achilles coming back in stock? And they were like, no, it's not coming back in stock. It's just done, I guess. And they can hop over models and terrains, so don't leave any space. They can charge past units with leaping assault rule. I have a real problem playing against Death Guard and dealing with this character they have that negates all charge bonus, thinking of Vindicator to Assassin to remove him. Which character is that? Pagnoto Lyrus. I mean, Mortarion has some abilities to negate charges, right, as well? A Vindicator Assassin is good. I mean, it's hard to argue with basically like a Force Sword / Power Sword that you get no invulnerable save against, so I have considered a Vindicator Assassin for my list. I feel like my HQ choices are pretty solid, but yeah, maybe a Vindicator would be good. I saw the Telemon was no longer available in the US. That's the Foul Blightspawn, right? Yeah, I think it's the relic from the Foul Blightspawn. I think you're correct. Isn't it Revolting Stenchvats? I actually haven't checked if the Death Guard list I'm playing on Monday has that in it, but I assume it will have it. I think it will come back in stock. I don't think the Telemon's been discontinued. I mean, I could be wrong, but they just put out new rules for it as well in the Imperial Armor book, so I really don't think it'll be discontinued. Yeah, sometimes painting white over other colours is such a drag, isn't it? You just put on coat and coat and coat of paint and you're just like, yeah, it's still not as smooth as I'd like it to be. I painted some stormtroopers for Imperial Assault and honestly it took me forever. I keep an eye on that. I saw the Dawnbreaker cohort have the same note on it for weeks, then listed available again. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're just having problems with supply due to COVID. Like, I think things will sort, like, maybe some countries are dealing with COVID better than us, but you know, I think we're starting to come out the other side. So I think you'll see more stuff come in stock over the next couple of months, I would have thought. Get my Redemptor on Monday. It's pretty exciting. Yeah, I mean, I'm running 2 Redemptors. They're pretty great. I find they always give a lot of value, the Redemptive Dreadnoughts. Ever since they got the cannon buff to do flat 3 damage, I've liked them a lot more. It just feels like, because I run 2 of them, it feels like every game I manage to roll at least 1/6 when I high power that cannon and get like a bunch of shots out. And I think today we popped a Rhino in turn 1 with a little bit of help from a Redemptor Dreadnought. Which codex after Admex do you think is next? I thought I read Custode's codex was coming soon, or did they already announce that? I know Dakari like came out like today, I think, or I think some people maybe got it last weekend. But yeah, I thought I read that. Maybe I'm confused. But I also noticed that Rust book came out as well, which gives new rules for like potentially Death Guard. Got new rules already, so I think it's called the Book of Rust. And actually, I think it had new AdMech rules in it as well. So maybe there'll be new rules for like a bunch of other. I mean, I think that's the equivalent of like the Book of Rust is kind of like the equivalent of Psychic Awakening, right? But Orcs would be a good one as well. I have a few friends that play Orcs, so it'd be nice for them to get a new book, and then get some Orc games going on the channel as well. I do hate how close these shields sit to these guys' bodies. I was speaking about it the other night, and I was just like, it's just going to make painting their bodies a real pain in the arse. Because I'm one of these people that likes to do the behind this. You know, like if you can see it, I like to have paint on it. I probably didn't look enough behind the shield on the other model we just passed, actually. Oh, AR, thank you, man. That's our third new member this week. So thank you so much. It's much appreciated. If you need any, I mean, I kind of say that if anyone needs any videos or Mathhammer done as the members, you can just let me know and we'll get it done. Usually I have sort of like a rough schedule of new videos that I want to make, but I'm more than happy to take suggestions or recommendations or requests, really, if there's videos that you need to see. And there is some. You can become a member, like by being a member now, you can get into the members only room over on Discord, and yeah, there's some members only posts on the community tab too you can check out as well. So yeah, I appreciate the support, and if you need anything, just hit me up. I just dropped my paintbrush. I just heard a beep. Oh, Andrew is sending me the Tyrannids list right now, I think. Let me check. Oh, he says he's almost done. He's making it extra spicy. So Andrew is making the Tyrannids list as we speak, but I think he has 2 of those Daima Charons, I think is how you say it. Yeah, I'm going to have to put more paint on the underside of these. I play Deathwatch, but I still find the painting and banter useful. Oh, awesome. I mean, Blood Angels can be in the Deathwatch, right? I mean, if I was ever going to do a kill team, or, do you know what, I already have 2 kill teams, but if I was ever going to do a 3rd kill team, then my 3rd kill team would be all Blood Angels, but they are all Deathwatch, because, I mean, normally they like to include all the chapters, but, I mean, this group of Deathwatch just figured that Blood Angels are best, so they're just all Blood Angels. I think that would be pretty cool. Maybe I should do a squad like that, just for the fun, because I've never actually painted Deathwatch. They'd be a lot like painting Death Company, I suppose, right? A lot of blacks. How do you paint your Deathwatch? Like, what do you use for the blacks? Or, because see, when I paint black, I like to do Chaos Black, and then I do Fenrisian Grey, which I guess is sort of like a lighter blue for the edge highlighting, but I mean, I know some people, probably with like Deathwatch and Black Templars, use like, probably like, I was going to say a more generic sort of grey. I like the blue grey though. I mean, the blue grey, the Fenrisian Grey works great with Blood Angels Death Company, I think. I have several Space Marines from the chapter of the Blood. Nice, good to hear it. Hopefully several of your guys are MVPs from the chapters of the Blood. It's a cool faction, like, I wonder if Deathwatch had been around when I started playing, if I wouldn't have done some Deathwatch stuff. Because I guess a big part of it comes from, like, what was available when you started playing, right? And when I started playing, I have the big box from 2nd edition where it was like the Blood Angels captain on the front of the box. Do you know what? I have that model and I have never painted him. So maybe at some point I'll prioritize them and we'll get him painted on stream or something. Right, hold on. Alright, the Death Guard list has to change a little bit, apparently, because it's a foul blight spawn with a relic revulsion strength vats. It is very effective against assault armies. You will lose all your charge bonuses. Yeah, I mean, the one thing about the foul blight spawn is he's slow, right? So, I mean, I generally probably would try and avoid charging near the foul blight spawn. I mean, you can use the whirlwind to counter the fact that he makes you fight last, I believe, with suppression fire. But yeah, I don't know what the right answer is for actually Like, if you're going to charge into that, you just need to be 100% sure that you're going to do the damage. Otherwise, don't make the charge. I don't think there's a really... Unless someone from chat wants to dive in with a great answer, I'm not sure there's a true fire way of dealing with the foul blight spawn and his stench vats for Blood Angels. The Whirlwind, I think, is the one option that we have that's decent. But beyond that, I don't think there's much else we can do. Like, I mean, a lot of people seem to think Blood Angels are 100% melee focused. I don't run my Blood Angels as a full melee focused list at all. I have a very good amount of shooting in my list. In fact, I think I run a Whirlwind, 3 multi-melta attack bikes. I was going to say 6 multi-meltas, but no, I get 6 multi-melta shots per turn from 3 attack bikes, and then I run 2 Redemptive Dreadnoughts. So if that's the big problem that you're facing, then I'd probably start shooting at... Like, he's probably surrounded by something like Death Shroud, right? So you can't just shoot at him. But I would probably... Or Plague Marines or whatever, I suppose. But I'd probably just start at the beginning of the game trying to pick off everything around him. Because... that aura that because he's got 2 ways of making fight last, right? He's got his aura and he's also got the relic. Both of those are like hard counters to our army. So I think if you come up against it, I would try and deal with it. I have a plan to do the Redemptor as a Knight of Blood, even though I feel it's a bit heretical. No, Knights of Blood aren't heretical. They were great in Devastation of Baal, right? I mean, they kind of redeemed themselves. I mean, they got wiped out. I don't know if it's said in as many words that they were completely wiped out, but I think they were pretty... They either were close to being wiped out, or it didn't quite say they were wiped out and they were implied. But yeah, no, I think Knights of Blood are cool. I'd do it. I kind of like the synergy that they had with the Flesh Tearers in that book, honestly. I swear it was gone 20 minutes and I came back to the same Blade Guard model. No, I'm painting 7 Blade Guard veterans. I don't know why I've got 7. What I did was I had 2 boxes of Indomitus, so we made all 6, and then I had 3 of the Indomitus Lieutenants, so I've actually made one of the Indomitus Lieutenants here just into like a 7th Blade Guard, who is going to be basically a Blade Guard Sergeant, and this is a custom shield I bought on eBay, which is like a Blood Angels Blade Guard shield. So I actually have one more Indomitus Lieutenant that I've not made, which I was thinking I was going to make into an Indomitus Death Company Lieutenant. I don't think I'm going to run him, but I just thought it would be a cool thing to have. So I've got 7 Blade Guard Veterans, and I know I'm only running 4 in this army list, but I just decided I was going to paint all 7 together. And I mean, maybe I could have just painted the 4 and been finished with this army list quicker, but like, there's no tournament or anything on the horizon, so I've got nothing I'm needing to rush to paint for any specific reason. The next tournament I have potentially is in November, so you know, that's like, what, 8 months away or something? So I was working out what I have to finish painting for November, and it's like, I've got a half-painted Whirlwind, I've got a half-painted Redemptive Dreadnought, I've got like 5 Sanguinary Guard, 5 Blade Guard Vets, and then 5 Sanguinary Guard, 5 Vanguard Veterans, and these. So it's like 17 infantry models and 2 armor. And everything's already got 3 colours on it, right? So like because I didn't want to play with stuff on stream that didn't have 3 colours on it, so I purposely made the point over the last few months to make sure everything had like a decent number of colours on it, so they look okay on stream and they're not just grey. So yeah, I've got nothing to rush for, so I'm just doing a batch of 7 Blade Guard Veterans at the moment. Maybe in the future I'll run more than 4 in my list, but right now I'm just painting 7, even though I only need 4. They were left on the moon to let Seth escape. The Knights of Blood simply accepted the rage. Yeah, so we think that they were wiped. I guess... Yeah. I guess they probably were wiped. But you never know. People come back from the dead in 40k Gilliman. So... you know, if Knights of Blood prove to be very popular, then maybe something might happen, you know? It was my interpretation that knights were destroyed utterly. Yeah, I haven't. Do you know what? It's a long time since I read the book, but if they were just, I did think that they were either destroyed or I thought maybe they left it open ended a little bit. So why do people say lieutenant when it's spelled lieutenant? So it's a funny reason that they say lieutenant, and I guess it's like an old military thing. It's spelled lieutenant. You're 100% right, Rezio. The reason they say lieutenant here in the British Army, they say lieutenant, and I believe it's because during the war, the captain had a guy on his left a lot, and the guy on his left, I believe, was lieutenant, and he was basically like, he wasn't the right hand man, but he was essentially the left hand man for like captains in the war, so they called them lieutenant. Even though it's not spelt left, they were always on the captain's left, so they ended up becoming lieutenant. But I mean, it's one of the cases where the English spelling is kind of confusing, I guess, because usually when you look at spelling, at least in my opinion, it's usually the American spelling that's a little bit more confusing than the English spelling. And I think it was because the Americans were just like, yeah, that looks like we're just going to spell it this way because we want to. And yeah, it's a tricky one. I can't think of an example now, but there is some spellings between the two, and I guess there's some pronunciations between the two versions of English that don't make sense. And I didn't actually realize it was called lieutenant in the UK because, you know, like we obviously watch a lot of movies are made in Hollywood and they'd always just call them lieutenants. So I actually don't even know if they call them lieutenant in Band of Brothers, right? Which is like the biggest army movie / TV show, and like everybody loved Band of Brothers, and I don't remember them ever calling anyone lieutenant. I mean, wasn't it Lieutenant Winters? Like, but I mean, really, I suppose I suppose although Band of Brothers was like World War II and it was them based out of the UK, they were American troops, so it would probably make sense that they called them the American spelling. So yeah, it's a weird UK thing, I guess, is the reason why people say lieutenant. Hopefully that answers the question. You can probably Google it. Google will probably give you a better answer than I would. I think the Knights of Blood were considered to have already redeemed themselves before the devastation. I think Dante said in the book they redeemed themselves 100 times over. I don't remember. I'm new to the hobby and I was looking for the Indomitus box set and was sold out everywhere, but I finally found one in the store, so happy now. Congrats, J-Zone. Glad to hear it. Yeah, sometimes you can just find great little deals in your local stores. It's always worth checking them out. I actually picked up a copy of the older Warhammer Quest in my local store for $30, which was like, I mean, it was going on eBay for like $150 now, so I was very pleased to find it for $30. So you know, local stores are always worth checking out. I think the Knights of Blood and Balpramaris were wiped, as didn't the BA fleet shoot the moon after the battle? Oh, it's been a while since I read the book. Maybe, Adam. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they've ever used Lieutenant in the US. So I guess that would make sense that it's not Lieutenant in Band of Brothers, so... But I was trying to think, did they ever run into any English troops in Band of Brothers? I don't actually think they did. I think it was mostly the Americans that were the paratroopers, right? I don't know what the British were doing at all at that point. Unless unless we were really struggling by that point in the war, and probably, I mean, we'd been fighting Germany solo for a bunch of years, right? So, probably why you never heard Lieutenant said in Band of Brothers, maybe. The only thing I thought was the American English is actually our English. What we have now is what actually changed for the influences from other countries over the century. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's all just changed over the years, I guess. But I believe in the British Army. They may actually still call people lieutenant. Like, I think they still say it. I think they still say it that way, but. I mean, I guess with like Hollywood and movies and TV shows and everything now, no one. I don't know if they would even call them. Like, I think they would just call them lieutenant because people would get confused if they said lieutenant. But yeah, so I've converted. I'm just going to call him lieutenant, so don't worry about that. I've converted a lieutenant to become a blade guard because I fancied. Obviously, the multi-part kit wasn't out, and this was from the Indomitus box. So I thought to myself, like, I kind of like the Neo-Volkite pistol. I think it's a solid choice for a pistol. I like it a lot more than a plasma pistol. You know, it's a pistol that can do 4 wounds plus mortals, right? So. I mean, you're unlikely to ever do 4 wounds, and you're likely probably only to get like a mortal wound when you fire it. But I still like it. I mean, I'd be much happier to pay 5 points for a Neo-Volkite pistol than I would over a plasma pistol. Just because I honestly think plasma pistols are worthless. Like, you just never can fire them in full power. I mean, maybe you can if there's a captain close by, but it's a big if. And I mean, it's the same as like Mephiston has that plasma pistol, right? And I just think it's a complete waste of points on Mephiston because it's like, who is ever going to fire Mephiston's pistol on high power? Like, it's just too much to risk. Band of Brothers was a great film. Yeah, I mean, I for a while there, I used to watch Band of Brothers every few years, like all 10 episodes. I thought that was one of the greatest TV shows I've ever seen. It probably still is one of the greatest TV shows I've ever seen. I think it was actually done by like Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks. Yeah, if you've never seen Band of Brothers, you should totally watch it. It kind of puts some of the new stuff that they create on like Netflix and all that to shame. Like, it was just such a good show. But maybe that's because there was like, you know, I think a lot of it was based on true story, right? Getting in behind these shields is actually a nightmare. I'm just going to say it again. I don't know how I'm going to paint the rims of these shields. Not without making a real mess and having to touch them up a bunch of times, I think. Oh, you're right. They did interact with the Brits a bit right at the beginning because they actually launched all the paratroopers from Britain, didn't they? Or they launched the planes from Britain. So there was a little bit of Band of Brothers that had English troops in it, yeah, or British troops rather. Well, I think it was probably mainly English rather than British because. Yeah, I probably should have painted them before you glued them on. You know, J-Zone, you just said in the chat that you got an Indomitus set. Maybe consider painting these shields before you stick them on, because otherwise you're gonna have the same love-hate relationship with them. I mean, I love them that they look cool. I hate them that they're really difficult to paint when they're already stuck to the model. I very rarely ever do sub-assemblies though. I have done them a couple of times, but it's super rare. I mean, the shields are starting to pop now. I mean, I think I'm honestly going to probably give that white another coat, and I'm probably going to give this red another coat. But once I do that, these shields are going to be like really vibrant. I worked with some Brits in Iraq and they said lieutenant. Alright, okay. So Aussies too. Here in Canada we use lieutenant in our armed forces, so everybody uses it, I guess, except America. Go figure. I thought Britain here was the weird one out. But I guess it's just because like Hollywood and that has made lieutenant so popular that I didn't even realise in Britain that we said it that way. You certainly don't think that's how you say it when you spell it, right? Because there's no F anywhere in the word. Alright, 4 down. 3 to go. The studio is filming a new series called Masters of the Air. Is that the... I heard about this. This is like similar to Band of Brothers, right? So it's a World War II thing, but it's all about the Air Force rather than the ground. I heard about that a few years back and thought it had all cancelled or whatnot, like, because I hadn't heard anything since. But if you're right, Reverends, that'll be exciting. Do you know what there was a Tom Hanks movie recently on Apple TV. I got a year free of Apple TV when I got my new iPhone, and I'm not sure Apple TV has enough on it to make it like feel as valuable as like Netflix or Disney Plus. But I guess they do occasionally have some like really good things on there. So I guess if you can ever get a free trial of like a month of Apple TV, there's 3 things that I watched on there that were good. One was C, which was like the new show with Jason Momoa where everyone was blind. There was one called For All Mankind, which is like a science fiction thing that's set in the Cold War between Russia and America. And then the third thing was a Tom Hanks movie about like World War II, and he was like he was a captain of like, I don't know, like a warship, I guess, and they were like fighting the U-boats, and it was a really dramatic movie. It reminded me a lot of like 1918. And it was awesome. It was funny that Tom Hanks was the lead in it, because Tom Hanks was the lead in Saving Private Ryan, right? But yeah, he absolutely nailed it. It was such a good movie. So if you can ever get a free month of Apple TV and you like sort of World War II movies / dramas, then you'll like that a lot. Actually, do you know what? When I used to do a lot of painting in my living room, because I still do painting in the living room of a morning, right? Like I get up at 7 every day, so that's like my time to enjoy on the weekends. I usually my wife and my child get up about 9, maybe half 9, so I usually paint for a couple hours in the mornings. And one of the things that I watch in the mornings when I'm in the living room is World War II in color. I don't know if you've ever watched that on Netflix, but it's actually a legitimately good show as well. So I tend to watch, like I put stuff on the telly that I don't really need to focus on. Sometimes I'll listen to my Warhammer audiobook, sometimes I'll put something on Netflix. And yeah, World War II in color is like one of my go-tos. I would have sub-assembly or my OCD would never forgive me. See, I always try and get I play with models when they're not ready, normally painted, to test them. So like, yeah, I mean, I guess there's a trade-off, Robert, right? Like if you wanna try out a new model, especially with something like the Indomitus box, right, where you just got like 20 different new models. I kind of want to test out and decide to paint the ones that gel best with my army or whatnot. So I actually, for example, like I started painting the Outriders from Indomitus. I got like halfway through the first squad of them, and then like I was like, right, I've run Outriders like in 3 different battles. I've not felt like they were providing value for me. When I looked at them on paper, I was like, Outriders are going to be ace for Blood Angels, totally going to run them. Ran them 3 times. Never felt like they provided any good value. Didn't like them, so it was like the Outriders got half painted and then just got put away. So I guess if I did sub-assemblies, I'd have problems. So I just assemble, play with them a few times and go, yeah, those are the guys, they're working out, right? I'm going to paint those. So then it takes me ages to paint stuff, right? I mean, you'll see here, like we've spent like I don't know. I mean, I've probably spent a good like 10-20 hours on these 6 guys already, and like they're nowhere near done. We've basically spent 2 hours tonight, and all we've done is like a coat on these shields. I don't know if I'm just really slow or if I'm just really fussy, but I'm going to need to give this white. I mean, I don't know how well you can see it here, but I think the white there needs one more coat. It's blotchy in places still, and this red around the edges is probably still a little bit blotchy as well in places. So, like, I will give these guys a 3rd coat. So this is why I tend to paint about 2,000 points every 6 months. Sorry, no, I tend to paint 2,000 points every year. That's my rate of painting. 1,000 points every 6 months. So if I do like a squad of, let's say, if I do a 10-man squad, it usually takes me about 6 weeks. I read Band of Brothers when I was in airborne school. It's amazing. I actually didn't realize there was a book, Band of Brothers. I wonder if it's on Audible, actually. Is the book better than the TV show? Because usually books are better than the TV shows, right? Usually just because they can get... You wouldn't think it, but they can usually get a lot more detail into the books, and you can use your imagination, and the books tend to be better. That's my opinion, I suppose, but... I mean, I think this is why people get so upset when they change their favorite books into Hollywood movies, and it's like, you wouldn't think it, but you can actually do a lot more in like 300 A4 pages than you can in a Hollywood movie. I was trying to think, there was a book that I read recently that was brilliant, and the movie came out and people were like, yeah, you know, the movie wasn't as good as the book, and I'm like, yeah, the movie is never as good as the book. That's kind of a thing. I have 6 Outriders, 1 Flesh Terror, 1 White Scar, 1 Blood Angels, 2 Black. Do you know what? That is the cool thing about Dark. That's the cool thing about Deathwatch AR. You get to do exactly what you want to do and do a bit of everything. More power to you, man. It must be quite fun doing Deathwatch, in that like every time you come to paint a new squad or a new model, you can just be like, right, what am I in the mood for today, you know? Or how do you do it? So do you just do their shoulder pads in the chapter colors, or do you go a little bit further? There's an easy way to break your record. Paint 1 Warlord Titan, then you can say you've painted 5,500 points a year. I don't know if I would ever buy a Warlord. I don't have room in my house for a Warlord Titan. My room is already absolutely crammed with models. Because I have a few non-Games Workshop games that I have huge collections of that are actually really badly underpainted as well, so if by some reason I ever got finished all my Blood Angels, then I would want to do those as well before I went on and bought something like that. I'm itching to paint, but I'm trying to get to grip with Citadel's new paint system. Last time I painted a model, the black paint was called Chaos Black. You know what? The spray is still called Chaos Black. I think. Because I actually was looking for it the other day because I need some more Chaos Black. But there is a chart that converts all the old colours to the new colours. I got it when I first got back into the hobby about 18... No, it wasn't 18 months ago. I was going to say right at the beginning, before 8th edition. So, probably like 2 years July? Oh, I don't know. I think 8th edition... Maybe it's more like 40 months now. But yeah, if you can't find the chart that converts the old colours to the new colours, let me know. Because I can probably... It might have been posted on Goonhammer. And I mean, if you had those old sort of hexagon Games Workshop paint bottles, they just tell you... Because it used to be called like Red Wash, didn't it? I think it was Red Wash. I think I've still got those old paint pots. I should probably just chuck them out. I think all the paint has completely solidified inside them, but I still kept the old paint pots. But I mean, now I know exactly what new colours I use anyway, so I'm pretty sure I could just chuck them. I've heard to avoid Citadel white paint like the plague. Yeah, it's not good. I'm using this. This is decent for white. This was cheap as well, and it's like your dropper top. So if you need white, don't buy Citadel white. Buy this. This is on Amazon for like $1.99, so it's cheaper than the Games Workshop stuff. It does come out. It is just better. It's not perfect. Like, I'm still going to have to put 3 coats over the top of gold, but I think in some cases I've got away with like 2 coats. Just, I guess this gold is really quite a dark gold. Look at the mess I made trying to do this white on here. Jeez. I'm doing my best to get better at freehanding and usually mark them the Legion Roman numerals they belong to as well. That's cool. I've been trying to get a little bit better at freehanding as well. Like starting with a stencil and then like painting sort of inside the stencil and then trying to like finish them off myself. But it takes a lot of practice, and I was just trying to do X's for the Death Company, and like I went back and forth on some of these X's like 20 times. I was like, I cannot get the dimensions on this X to look right. But you know, you're never going to get good at freehanding if you don't try. So good for you for trying. I'm trying as well. Painting, when I first played Warhammer, so I started playing in like 2nd edition, and when I first started playing really competitive was like 3rd or 4th edition. But back then, like, my painting was absolutely tragic, right? I had the worst looking models on the table. I mean, I was like, I don't want to say I was lazy. I just might have been a bit lazy, but might have also just not really known how to paint. Like, no one had ever told me how to paint. There was no YouTube tutorials. There's nobody you could watch. There's nobody you could ask questions. And I was very focused on just playing all the time and winning. So I never cared about how my models were painted. I just focused on winning games. And when I came back to the hobby, I was like, right, I gotta step up and actually, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it properly. And the Citadel ink range. I'm not sure if I remember Citadel inks. I do remember. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to remember. But yeah, I wasn't when I first played Warhammer. I was not good at painting. I was good at winning games. I just was not good at painting. In some ways, it was good actually because there was a bunch of stuff that I just like base coated and put like a couple of colors on. So when I came back, I was like, right, I'm just gonna paint a new coat of red over these guys and start again. The best are heavy body titanium white artist paints. They're good paints. I've never heard of heavy body ones. Where did you get them from then, Tony? But Tony's you're a commission painter, right? Tony, are you so have you got a website, Tony, then, or what is it you do for your commissions? And also, what discount do you give to Blood Angels Commander followers? Because some of us need stuff commissioned all the time, you know? Just saying. Someone was actually asking me about that JW Gaming mat that I previewed in Friday's video. Yeah, it was Friday's video. So I actually asked the guy over at JW Gaming, like, hey, well, somebody messaged me and was like, hey, is there any discount codes for JW Gaming? And I was like, I don't know. Let me message the guy about it. So it sounds like maybe we'll get some codes for discounts in the future. I guess we'll see. If there is, I will let you guys know as soon as possible. But yeah, someone was asking, is there any Blood Angels Commander discount on JW Gaming? If I'm going to be promoting it, can I get you guys discounts? So I guess we'll find out. Or we're trying to find out, rather. Hey, I'm new to 40k and trying to Blood Angels, but I'm finding it hard to get down the red. I've tried Mephiston red and the Blood Angels contract red, but I can't get it to work. I mean, what are you trying to do with the red, I guess, is my question. And then, like, and explain in a few more steps what you've actually tried. Like, are you undercoating the models, Exo? Are you just taking the paint out of the pot? Like, what steps have you done, and what are you trying to achieve, I guess? two thin coats and block capitals. I mean, that is one of the options. Yeah, that's why I'm asking him what he's actually tried. Let's find out and then let's help him out. That's what we do on this channel. Help people out, man. Oh yeah, so I don't know if you guys were here the other day when I said it, but I'm not going to be asking anyone to subscribe on the channel any longer. I'm sure a bunch of you already subscribed and it's much appreciated. But in future videos, I'm just going to ask people if they would like it. So, and that goes for pretty much every video I ever do. So if you ever watch one of my videos and you think, yeah, that was a cool video, I enjoyed it, how you could help me out a lot is just by hitting the like button. So we're not gonna worry about, I guess it's gonna make all our weekly videos a bit we're gonna try and get the intro a bit shorter because we're not gonna have to ask people to subscribe. So I'm just gonna ditch that and stop asking people to subscribe, and I'm just gonna ask if you enjoy the content, if you can hit the like button on the video, be it a live stream, be it a weekly tactics video, whatever it is. Hey Scott, use the Mephiston Red Air. I used the Mephiston Red spray paint, but it came out kind of chalky. I even heated the can beforehand. I then gave an all-over wash of Seraphim Sepia, but it came across as quite flat. I mean, if you're getting chalky spray, I was going to say, I haven't had chalky spray in a while, but I have had it before. Does anyone remember why the spray comes out chalky? You're doing something wrong if it comes out chalky. I've had it have happened before. I can't remember exactly why. And honestly, I think Seraphim wash is probably too close to Mephiston Red. Let me check. Seraphim Sepia. Oh, do you know what? It is a bit redder than... Yeah, see, I use... I'm not sure about that. If you get the subs to 10k first and you get some GW exposure... You're not sure about me not asking people to sub? Or you're not sure about what? Sorry. You're spraying too close. Why is it BAC? Why is that BAC? Too rich already. No, right. Here's the thing, right? Have you ever gone to a YouTube video of a channel that you don't know, and you've watched those first 20 seconds, and let's face it, every YouTuber is doing the same thing, right? Like, hey, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, why don't you subscribe, right? You don't know what the channel's offering. You don't know what the channel is all about. And I'll tell you right now, I cannot remember the last time I subscribed to a YouTuber or a channel that did that in the first 20 seconds of the video, right? I mean, if you guys did it for my channel, then great. But honestly, I cannot remember the last time I subscribed for that. I'll subscribe once I know the channel is giving me value, or once I know I'm enjoying the channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask people to like. And then what will happen is, if people want to subscribe, they'll subscribe because they want to, because they like the content, rather than me asking them to. And those subscribers are going to be more... I mean, this is my opinion. I mean, I could be totally wrong. If my number of subscribers completely drops, then maybe we'll go back to asking people to subscribe. But I honestly don't think it... You know, like, I watch other YouTubers all the time, and never once in those first 20-25 seconds when they ask me to subscribe will I subscribe. I'll wait till I know. So I guess what I can try and do is... I've looked at my analytics in YouTube, right? And every video I do, in the first 30 seconds... like, let's say 100 people watch the video, and the first 30 seconds, 25 people stop watching, right? And maybe that is just common across all of YouTube. But what I'm thinking is, in that first 20-25 seconds, you need to prove to people that like you are worth watching. And if I'm filling up 10 of those seconds saying like, hey, if you like, you know, blah blah blah, if you want weekly Blood Angels content, come and subscribe. Whereas like I could actually maybe deliver some value earlier in the video, and people would want to stay and like and subscribe because I'm delivering value, as opposed to me saying, hey, please subscribe, and guess what? Like, I mean, this is, like I say, I could be totally wrong here, and I'm not saying I'm infallible. I'm kind of new to the YouTube game as well, but I'm gonna say, please like the video. If you enjoy the video, please like it. And guess what? You guys can like every one of my videos, right? And the way YouTube determines if people see more of my videos. Oh, hey, Ed, thanks so much for becoming a member. That's much appreciated, man. Thank you. So, completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, you guys can like every one of my videos if you want. So, if we can get more likes, more people will find the channel, and then people will come to it, and hopefully people will get further into the videos, because we'll be able to not fill the videos up with the same crap at the start of every one, saying, hey, please subscribe. You know, maybe we'll say please subscribe at the very end of the videos, so if people get to the end, but I'm not going to put it at the start anymore. But I might ask you to like every video. So, I mean, if you guys have the time and you can hit the like button, it would be greatly appreciated. For the contrast method, I used Wraithbone, then Blood Angels contrast, but it didn't look quite right. Contrast paint is really hard to get right on Marines, I find. And I don't know if... My opinion was Seraphim Sepia is the wrong wash to be using on Blood Angels. I don't use that on any of mine. I use Agrax Earthshade. And I think if you've... I think the strength of the washes, right, is to use a different colour than what you've painted, right? So, like, if you've painted a red coat of Mephiston Red, and then you're going to wash with a red wash, it probably is going to feel a bit flat. Whereas on Mephiston Red, you could use Agrax Earthshade, or you could even use Nuln Oil if you really want to bring it down to a bit more of a gritty place. But yeah, I think Seraphim is going to be too close to the red you already painted. And yeah, no, Will, I wish I was too rich. I am definitely not too rich to not ask people to subscribe. I just think that maybe I can get into the content quicker and people will watch more because the content's interested, as opposed to... It's essentially Dead Space. If you think about all the guys that are already subscribed, when you guys hear me say that, it's just wasting your time. So I'll ask people to like the video, and maybe at the very end of the video I'll ask for subscribers. But going forward, I'm not going to ask for subscribers at the beginning of the videos. So, Ed, please make sure you link your Discord up to your YouTube, and then you'll become a member, or you become a member in Discord, and you'll get access to the members only room over there. So that'll be cool. And there are some members only community posts as well that we occasionally put out. I haven't done one in a little while, actually. I need to do another members only community post. Maybe we'll ask the members what video you guys would like to see next. I know what video we're doing this Friday, but I mean, I guess there's a heap of suggestions. So maybe we'll put out a members only poll next week or something for future videos for the channel and see what people want to see. Or we'll actually put out a thread where we ask members to suggest future videos as well. Too far away can make it chalky as well. Yeah, see, I thought too far away was why it got chalky, because the spray paint essentially dries in midair, and then it becomes bobbly. And if the model is chalky like that, the best thing you can do, because I've had it happen to me and it is a nightmare, I think the best thing you can do if you've got chalky models is take the paint, like get yourself another coat, another pot, like get yourself an actual pot of Mephiston Red, and make it really watered down, right? Like way more watery than you would normally paint, and like just paint, like basically undercoat the whole model. And what you will, like, use an old brush, like a nice big thick brush, and doing that will, like, it'll pull away a lot of the chalkiness. It is, so I think it's sort of salvageable. the chalk, like if you sprayed them and they're chalky. But yeah, I would use a different wash than Seraphim. I use Agrax Earthshade, but I actually paint my guys. My base coat is yeah, you're right, Robert. Maybe we could just put it in the text. I do have this little banner that I occasionally throw up, right? Which is like the subscribe banner. So maybe we'll throw the subscribe banner up while the intro's playing or something, but we won't actually say it. It's the cost of a plastic shield. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right, Ed. It is the cost of a plastic shield. If you try and buy storm shields on eBay, they're so bloody expensive, aren't they? So yeah, well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. I ended up going to a reseller for my storm shields because I wasn't willing to pay like $3 or $4 per storm shield on eBay, because that's how much people were charging for storm shields on eBay. So that's why all my Vanguard veterans have this custom. You know what? I've got one right here. That's why all my Vanguard veterans have this custom storm shield, because I think I got 5 of them for like $10, and I was like, I am not paying. I'm not paying like $4 per storm shield from eBay. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, if I see the numbers changing, we can always flip it up again. But yeah, I want to see if delivering better content quicker in the video will get more people to. You'd be surprised at how good YouTube's analytics are, right? They give you analytics on everything. Like they actually tell you what time of day the most of your subscribers are on YouTube, so you know like at what time of day you should release your new videos and stuff like that. It's pretty crazy, the analytics they have. I mean, I don't pretend to understand it because there's so much of it, but they do have an absolute ton of analytics. And one of the analytics that I've been seeing, because I've been trying to look at the analytics and work out like, is there anything I can do to improve the channel? And one of the things that I have seen is like I do lose, and I don't know if it's standard across all YouTubers, but in the first 30 seconds, out of every 100 views, like 25 people leave after the first 30 seconds. So is that just there's too much filler at the beginning of all my videos? So I guess we're gonna try and switch up what's happening at the beginning and see if, you know, if we look in a month and there's no change, then maybe we'll go back to how it's always been. But yeah, that is my plan for the very near future, I guess. I did suggest a Discord, an Assassin Inquisitor video. Yeah, we should maybe make that Assassin Inquisitor video sooner rather than later. I guess that's 2 videos. I think it would be too much to try and put all the Assassins and all the Inquisitors in a single video. And I did want to do that stratagem video because people were keen to see a stratagem video as well. Just like the best stratagems that I think that we have access to in the 9th. If you want to paint Blood Angels in contrast paint, look up War Hipster. He's got a good contrast painting video for that. I think there's a couple of people that do 3D printing in the Discord, Ed. I'm not entirely sure. I know my friend Andrew, who plays on the channel, does a lot of 3D printing. I haven't done any myself, but there's definitely some people that do 3D printing. And Andrew actually signed up to Kickstarter for 3D printing terrain, so he was going to be printing some battlefield terrain pieces for us to try and make our tables a little better as well. I think 3D printing is really coming on in the last year or two, you know? It's kind of gone from like only a very few people who could do it to it seems like everybody's getting a 3D printer. Andrew was saying that there's like a really good budget 3D printer now that he just picked up or something that was like only £200-300 for like it can pretty much print just about anything. I have to head off for a few minutes early, so cheers all. Thanks for heading out tonight, Adam. Nice to see you. Some locals have a 3D printer, $50 Canadian Leviathan Dreadnought. Okay. I mean, that still seems expensive, unless it's super high quality. But mind you, I have no idea what they charge for a Leviathan Dreadnought in Canada, actually. In the UK, a Leviathan Dreadnought's probably like 70, 80 maybe? So I guess in Canada it's probably closer to 100, is it? $250 in Canada, wow, okay. You just come on a holiday to the UK and go to the Games Workshop store, you save yourself some money. I mean, shipping costs from the UK to America are pretty crazy because Bob, who's one of our members, Bob won that Storm Speeder in the giveaway that we did a few weeks ago, and I messaged Bob and was like, hey Bob, I know you've won the Storm Speeder, but do you mind if I cut the box open? And he was like, why? And I was like, because I've squeezed it and there's a lot of empty space in the box, and like, you know, shipping costs from the UK to America are not cheap. He was like, by all means. So basically what I ended up doing was I opened the box for the Storm Speeder and I cut the you know, the picture of the Storm Speeder, the front of the box, I cut that off, and then I just basically used like masking tape to reseal it down. I was able to take like an inch or two off the top of the box, so there was probably like this. Yeah, it was probably like 2 inches, maybe an inch and a half, right? So there was an inch and a half of empty space inside the Storm Speeder box. So I basically cut the top off the box, cut the sides off, and then resealed the top on top. And it cost me like probably like $20 US to send basically one small box to America. So I mean, I guess the shipping costs from the UK to America are just nasty in general. You would think that like a big company like that would be able to do it a bit cheaper, but I mean, I guess that if that's what the airlines are charging, or if that's what I guess it would be airlines, yeah. If that's what they're charging, that's what they're charging, right? There's not so much you can do about that. Euro is like 3 times the Canadian dollar. Hey boss, for laurels, what do you paint them with? Struggling with some vanguards. I'm not entirely sure what you mean for laurels, sorry. I'm not... If it's slang, I don't know what it means. The leaf bits. Oh right, yeah. On. You mean this stuff? Or you mean the leaves on the shield? I assume you mean the leaves on the shoulder pads here. Oh, for the shield I just use Warpstone Green, I believe, and then what I do is I give it a null and oil wash once the green's dry. Hey Guest, it's Guesty. Hey Guesty, thanks very much for following. So it's just Warpstone Green, then it'll be like a null and oil wash, and then what I'll do is, when I apply my washes, I apply them quite thick, right? But then what I'll do after that is, like, I'll just gently, like super gently, go over the raised areas with the green again to try and keep some of that wash in there, so you get a bit of definition. It doesn't actually look like I've done this one all that well. These were really fiddly and really small, but I mean, that's all it is. It probably looks better like if I'd done on a, you know, like here's the sergeant. So at the moment, like, all we've done is put the warpstone green on there. So the gold is still coming through actually. So that'll be we'll do another coat of warpstone green. Then we'll just give it a very quick wash of Nuln Oil, and then like very lightly go over it with the green again, right? Like my painting schemes tend to be quite simple. I tend to go for like more bold colours. And I think that's because when I started the hobby, it was like 2nd edition, so I was doing... In 2nd edition, everything was a bit more bold in terms of raw colours, right? And then... I need some more paint here. I don't know, the duties and taxes hit me hard if I ever order from the US. Must be the same the other way. Gido's so much cheaper in the UK. Yeah, anything over $20 I think that you import from America, you have to pay tax on normally, and it's pretty heavy, the tax, you know. I think it's like 20-25%. It's not the smallest amount of tax you have to pay for imports. A laurel is a type of leaf dressing. Yeah, I mean, I do know they're called laurels. I just wasn't putting 2 and 2 together. It is 5 past midnight on Saturday night, and my brain is fried. Partly it's fried because we had that game against I can't even think who it was. The World Eaters this morning. I made a few key mistakes in that game. Fortunately, we took the win home, but I need to stop making mistakes. It's super annoying when I make them on stream as well, because it's like, I know people are watching, and I know people expect me to do better. It's gonna happen though. Right before lockdown, I was on a really good streak where I was making like no mistakes in games, and then hit me with 3 months of lockdown, and my old man brain doesn't work properly anymore. Brett was the name of the World Eaters player. Yeah, I mean, I play Brett quite often. I've played that I've played as World Eaters 3 times in 9th edition, and that was actually my 3rd victory against them. So I don't know what it is about World Eaters. I think I just have their number, because I guess they are a very melee-based army like ours, and we have a bit more mobility than him. So used correctly, I feel like we have the advantage in that matchup. Or maybe Brett just doesn't bring the right units to fight up against Blood Angels, because usually Brett ends up beating Colin and Andrew, whereas I just always seem to manage to get the results against Brett. Brett always tells me he has bad dice rollers against me, but I mean, I don't know if you can blame the dice. I feel like over the course of a game, usually the dice sort of average themselves out, right? I mean, you do get the odd game where you're just rolling hot, or you're just rolling like absolute dog trash, but I think for the most part there's enough dice rolls in the game where sort of laws of average means that over the course of a game the dice will sort of even themselves out. But I mean, that's just my opinion, I guess. Alright, since it is 5 past midnight, I am going to be calling it in the next 10 minutes or something like that. We are back tomorrow for the live weekly show, though, so that's at 4 PM UK time tomorrow. And we are, we got 5 community submitted army lists, as always. And then on Monday is also going to be a busy day for the channel, because we got Tyranids, and we got a game against Death Guard, and the Death Guard game is going to be the gatekeeper list. But if we beat the Tyranids, which I hope we can do. I mean, they do have those nasty 24-inch charging what did you call them? Macarions or something, which we'll need to deal with. But if we beat the Death Guard, if we beat the Tyranids, which hopefully we can do, then it'll be a case of the Death Guard will be the gatekeeper list. And I guess what a gatekeeper list is, a list that decides if our list is any good. So at that point we'll be on a 5-game win streak, and then we'll have to play against Death Guard, and the list is definitely not optimized against Death Guard. We do not have that many 3 damage weapons. We do not have that many... Well, I mean, we have one Psyker who is not the Chief Librarian, so we've only got 1 deny against Mortarion. So I guess we'll see. If we can... I mean, I could say that I have beat the Death Guard the last 3 times I've played them now. So in some ways, maybe I have their number a little bit as well. But, I mean, only one of those games was 9th edition. 2 of the victories were 8th edition, because we haven't had a chance to play that much because of COVID. So... I mean, although we kind of know what to deal with, or what we might have to deal with the Death Guard, I guess we'll see. So yeah, both those games are coming up on Monday. Tyranids in the morning, Death Guard in the evening. The Tyranids game is not going to be on this channel, so it's going to be on Andrew's channel, and I will put a link to the video in Discord. So if you want to come over, and if you want to support Andrew as well, you can obviously subscribe to his channel. But yeah, the Blood Angels game against Death Guard will be on our channel in the evening on Monday. So tomorrow, live show, and then Monday, Death Guard battle. So that'll keep us busy for a few days. And then coming up on content wise this week, I honestly haven't figured it all out for this week yet. We do need to make that stratagem video, and I think that was going to be planned for Friday. Oh, do you know what? I've got one other random video that I filmed that's just some random content. Maybe there'll be a video in the middle of the week. Probably can edit it together very quickly. So I guess we'll see. Maybe there's going to be a video in the middle of the week, but it's just going to be more like a fun throwaway hobby video than anything too serious. Does anyone think Black Templars are going to get a Codex in 9th edition? I think they'll probably get a Codex supplement, right? I mean, they're doing a lot of supplements. Thanks very much, Chris. That's very kind of you to say. We are always here. I think we always aim to do hobby hangouts Thursday night and Saturday night, and I think in the future, once this new Battle Sector game comes out, I think we're going to be playing Battle Sector on Friday night. So I guess I guess I have a lot of content coming every week. So yeah, always here, always hanging out, always happy to talk Blood Angels, answer questions, do what must be done, brother. So we made a little progress tonight. I am enjoying doing these guys gold though. I mean, there's a lot still to do with him, but I think they're going to look pretty dope in gold when they're finished. Alright. Did I miss a purity seal? Nope. No. And this guy? No. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to call it there, guys. It's 10 past midnight. I probably need to head to bed. Does the Death Guard army have another army? Yes, Colin plays Ultramarines as well. I don't know if you've seen our live, like the room where we have the live stream, Adam. But on the wall behind, there's like tons of models in there where we play our live games, and all the Ultramarines on those shelves belong to Colin as well. So he has a ton of Ultramarines. I don't know if Ultramarines are that competitive at the moment, but he has a ton of them. Good night, Tony. I'm off in a minute as well. I can't find a rule that would let the Redemptor always rapid fire. Rapid fire doesn't say it, and Bolter Discipline doesn't mention vehicles. I think only infantry have to remain stationary under Bolter Discipline. Bolter Discipline... let me double check what Bolter Discipline says. If they can't rapid fire all the time, I've been doing it wrong. I'm convinced they can, though. Blood Angels. Bolter Discipline. Oh, you're right. It's only Terminators and Bikers now that get rapid fire to the full range, unless they remain stationary. When did they... Oh, I guess I've been doing it wrong with the Stormbolters. Like, when did they change that? Did it used to be Dreadnoughts? I mean, if you remain stationary, you could shoot rapid fire for full range. I guess they changed that in 9th edition and it's been overlooked by people? I was going to say, or it's been overlooked by me. They must have changed it to only Terminators and Bikers. It definitely used to include Dreadnoughts. Oh well. Does that null and void a bunch of my wins? I guess, maybe. I mean, we probably did some wounds with those Stormbolters. That's super annoying. Half range only, yeah? Yeah, you're right. Thanks for pointing that out, because I've been doing it wrong. They definitely changed that. So, Frag Storm, grenade launchers... I mean, I guess the Frag Storms are probably still a little bit weaker because you can't shoot them if you're in close combat, right? But I guess at range, you're maybe going to end up with like 1 or 2 extra shots. I mean, actually, I only have 1 Redemptor with a Stormbolter on it, so it's probably less of an impact for me because one of my Redemptors is the easy build one that we hacked the arm off. So one of mine has got Frag Storms on it. But still, you'll probably be in half range anyway. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're probably right that you're usually trying to get the Redemptors into melee range, aren't you? Right? Because you want to get the Redemptor in melee combat because his fist is absolutely brutal. So okay, so maybe over the course of the games, it was only like maybe 4 to 8 storms, which really is probably only going to do like 1 wound. But still, yeah, I still think the Stormbolters are potentially better. But yeah, no. I'm glad you I'm glad you pointed that out. And hey, March, how you doing? But yeah, I mean, I'm taking off for the night, guys. Thanks very much for watching today. Thanks for watching the streams earlier. Thank you to the new members tonight. New members are always so appreciated, so thank you so much for that. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. UK time, Army List show. So hopefully we'll catch some of you then. And if not, maybe we'll catch some of you in the live games on Monday. I will post in the community tab, probably Sunday night, where you can watch the first live game, and also, I mean, I'll set up the streams for the other games, so you'll be able to check them out as well. So have a good evening, everybody. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the support as always, and we will see you all very soon. By the blood are we made. Peace.